Joe Rogan has just reacted to Tom Aspinall's latest eye injury update, and the MMA community is now completely divided over it.
You know why I hate Tom Aspinall? Because in the post-match press conference, he was going at his heavyweight champion like he absolutely did not like him.
I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight.
And his key word there is didn't. He didn't say Tom Aspinall couldn't continue, insinuating that he's a quitter.
I don't know if it's because Andy Aspinall's saying Tom wants to go to boxing and he'd love a big payday in boxing, but that's just Andy being a manager and a dad negotiating.
I'm going to be honest, I'll give Dana the benefit of the doubt. He could have easily just misspoke. And the fact that if you do watch the YouTube that Aspinall put out, Dana White's in the locker room before wishing him all luck. I'm sure he's on good terms with Tom Aspinall and his father, because Dana White, let's be honest, if he doesn't have Tom Aspinall, he doesn't have a heavyweight division. If you saw the other heavyweight fights that were on this UFC 321 card, absolute ass.
Beautiful jab, circling all around. He won he won that round. Both those guys, for being heavyweight, can move so well on their feet. God, that was going to be such a sweet fight. And I thought Tom was going to go out there and kind of run through Surreal. That was going to be a very interesting fight. I mean, I guess running it back makes sense. Post-fight reaction from Tom Aspinall. What the fuck you booing? I'm the one that got poked in the fucking eye. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not the one that fucking poked him. I get it, you're frustrated. I don't think the fans weren't booing at Tom for not continuing. I don't think the fans are booing because, you know, it sucks. It's the main event, you want to see a fight. But every time like a first reaction happened, the nut shot, an eye poke, you don't think it's, all right, it's gonna get stopped. And when it does, it sucks. Oh God, I remember when the Pedro fight got stopped. It was in the second round, and I was feeling like I was just getting started. And you just see those guys heartbreak in there, just not being able to compete and do what they love to do. They put all this work in. I think you turn it around, immediate rematch, as long as Tom's eyes.
Anthony? No, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed. I talked all day yesterday. Like, I just want to see Tom have to overcome some adversity. I want to see what he does when when his first plan of action doesn't work. What's he checked down to? Is he gonna wrestle? Can he compete with Cyril Gane on his feet for 25 minutes? And I don't get any of those answers, and just like everybody at home, I'm disappointed.
Being poked in the eye is illegal, Brendan, but to fight with one eye is very common. The opponent's trying to hit your eye. He's trying to bust up and make your nose bleed. So that part of it does have question for guys like Anthony and I. We're trying to be polite. We're trying to show grace. But in all fairness, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you got to fight with one eye.
Some fans believe Tom Aspinall used the eye poke as an excuse to escape the fight, while others argue the damage was clearly severe. And Joe Rogan isn't afraid to call it how he sees it. During a recent podcast, Rogan analyzed the footage frame by frame, pointing out how deep Cyril Gane's fingers went into Aspinall's eye. He said, anyone who thinks that wasn't serious has no idea how devastating eye injuries can be.
It's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that John Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
A great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony. I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. That's really about it. That's the one thing that he's setting up real nice. He couldn't touch Cyril Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him. He was touching him. That jab, he busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game.
And he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Olin St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. Be like just another up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And John, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared.
Rogan emphasized that Tom looked disoriented and instantly in pain, adding that fighters don't fake something like that. You could see it, he said. He wanted to continue, but he literally couldn't see. You can't fight blind. But while Joe defended Tom, not everyone shared his view. Analysts like Shil Sonnen suggested Tom might have used the incident as a convenient way out, knowing the round wasn't going in his favor. Sonnen even pointed out that Tom's reaction, immediately going to the doctor and calmly shaking his head, seemed a little too composed for someone supposedly blinded. Those comments set the MMA world ablaze.
stop eye pokes in the UFC. Andy Aspinall was in the hospital with Tom and saying,
I think it would be useful to analyse the people who do it and get away with it in the fight, win the fight, and everybody forget that they're going to get poked in the eye. And I just think it's unfair.
I feel like this going forward, as soon as someone gets poked in the eye, accident or not, it's a point deduction. Doesn't need to be a disqualification, but they need to be losing something on the scorecard. Jim Miller fought at UFC 100, 200, and 300, and he said,
unfortunately, we are probably going to see someone lose an eye in the octagon.
And then also on top of that, it was knuckle deep. He was 2 fingers deep into Tom's eyes.
I could understand the booing a bit. They paid a lot of money for these tickets, have travelled many hours to get there. But anyone that's saying he was looking for a way out, you kind of are stupid.
As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Surreal did that on purpose. So, I also can't or am not mad at Surreal. But I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame. But I don't quite know who to blame. Now, before we get to that, okay, there was a pretty interesting fight going on. The story going into this fight is Tom has the power to just go knock him out. We're not saying Tom's a better kickboxer. We get that Surreal did that for many years of his life. We get that Surreal had over 30 professional kickboxing bouts. But Tom, a little younger, a little bigger, shown to have a little bit better power if you just want to look at results, and has the ability to knock him out. However, if Tom tests that and doesn't knock him out, he'll just take him down and beat him up. I mean, this was the belief going in, guys. Tom was a 3.5 to 1 favorite. Tom told everybody that was willing to listen, I shouldn't be a 3.5 to 1.
Fans quickly accused Sonnen of disrespecting one of the sport's most honorable fighters. But Joe fired back right away, saying Tom Aspinall has never shown a hint of quitting or weakness. This is a guy who's taken every challenge thrown at him, Rogan said. He fought through a torn knee, waited over a year for his comeback, and then gets eye poked twice by the same guy. That's not quitting, that's just pure bad luck.
Do you think Tom, as far as the crop and yeah, again, he's not even that active, but as far as active fighters, Tom's the best heavyweight we have to offer. That being said, and I love Tom, I'm a big believer in Tom, but there are some holes in his game if you watch enough fighting. Even though he's starching everybody, he's not starching elite level guys. He's beating and demolishing guys that are offered to him, but the heavyweight division has never been weaker. So you're basically the king of the mediocre heavyweight division. But again, not his fault. But with saying that, it goes to show that Tom does have some issues in his game that at a certain level will get exposed. So if you bring up Tom's record, my issue for Tom is, so Tom's one of the most athletic, Don might be the only more athletic heavyweight in the division, but Tom's fucking right up there. So Tom's big, he's fast, he's athletic. He has jiu-jitsu as far as we know.
I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250 because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Cyril, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Cyril just did some weird stuff. And John, you don't make mistakes against John.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Tom came out and said, no, I'm not going to rematch him. He's a cheater. Why would I rematch a guy that already cheated, that violated not one of my eyes, but both? I gave him his chance. He chose to cheat. I'm going to move on. If Tom took that stance, which he's not going to do, I'm saying, but for fun, I think he'd have a lot of people that supported him. For some reason, Surreal has come out of this thing with his hands clean. He's the one that did the poking.
It was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. There's protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. He couldn't see. Then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes here like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye, his eye wasn't following properly, so the muscles weren't working strong enough to go this way. This one just wasn't working that good at all. So we've got to have additional tests further this week, and Moyes is sorting the tests out for us. and he's got to have a CT scan.
It was a significant eye poke. It wasn't like a little scratch.
Yeah.
It was, they went in. They were proper eye pokes, and Tom clearly was in a lot of pain. There's people saying online, well, he was saying multiple times, I can't see. If he wanted to continue, he shouldn't be saying that. The reality is, if he can't see...
Tell the truth.
If you can't see, you're allowed to say you can't see. People might point to me and say, well, you fought with one eye. Yeah, that was a secret because I shouldn't have been fighting. You know, Tom is the champion of the world. He doesn't want to go out there when his vision is impaired or vision is massively affected and potentially lose a fight that was shaping up to be a difficult fight. Cyril Gane was on point tonight. He was looking good. We saw the damage on Tom's face. This was not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. He didn't want to continue with his vision damaged or not being able to see, so I don't blame him. The crowd were upset. I get that. They were frustrated. They've flown in from other countries. They've spent a lot of money. They've bought tickets, and the fight ends like that. I don't think the frustration...
Behind the scenes, Tom's camp revealed that he still has limited vision in one eye and that recovery could take several months. Tom himself has stayed mostly silent, admitting only that he's frustrated, exhausted, and mentally drained by everything that's happened. His father, Andy Aspinall, said the hardest part has been watching people question his son's heart when all he's ever shown is loyalty and courage. Joe Rogan echoed that feeling perfectly, saying, "You can replace a belt, but you can't replace your eyesight." The fight community remains divided. Was Tom's reaction simply the only safe option, or did he pull back too soon in the heat of the moment? One thing, however, is certain: this situation has changed how fans view the heavyweight division. Because whether you love or hate Tom Aspinall, no one can deny that this moment will define his comeback, and when he returns, the entire world will be watching.